Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take stacks of information and, well, distill them into powerful insights for you.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're embarking on a really fascinating deep dive. It's into what our source material calls the three fundamental calls. Basically, paths every person encounters in life.
That's right. And the challenge, the source says, is choosing which one to follow.
Yeah, a critical choice.
Definitely. Our source today, it draws heavily from ancient biblical texts, particularly the book of Judges, exploring these different kinds of callings.
And these aren't just vague ideas, are they?
No, not at all. The text suggests they come from distinct places, from God, from other people, man, or from what it actually labels Satan.
Wow, okay. That's quite a framework.
It is, and it sets up a clear mission for us in this deep dive. How do we understand these calls? How do we discern them? How do we choose?
So we'll be looking at allegories, historical accounts, even big figures like Moses and Jesus to unpack it all.
Exactly, to see the implications of these different paths.
Okay, let's dive in. Let's unpack this.
Sure.
So this bold claim right up front, three distinct callings, God, man, or Satan. And the source really hammers home how vital it is to figure out which path you're on.
It really does. And what's so striking is how it immediately uses this pretty intense example, Abimelech, from Judges chapter 9.
Right, I remember that story. Not exactly a role model.
No, definitely not. He pursued power through, well, murder, brutal violence. And the text is explicit.
Oh.
This was a calling from Satan. It even calls Satan a murderer from the beginning.
So it sets that contrast immediately. A really dark path.
Extremely dark. And then you have the men of Shechem.
Ah, the ones who backed him up.
Yeah. But why? Not because of some divine leading, It was, human reasoning, tribal loyalty. They thought, hey, great, one of our own is rising up.
So that's the call for man. Makes sense. Ambition, politics, loyalty.
Exactly, human motivations. And then the source contrasts both of those, Abimelech's path and Shechem's choice, with Gideon's call earlier in Judges.
Which was directly from God.
Precisely. So right there, you have the framework. Divine purpose, human ambition, or, well, this destructive, evil intent. It's fundamental for everything else the source talks about.
Okay, got it. But it's not just theory, right? The source uses an allegory.
Oh, yeah, and it's a brilliant one. From Judges 9 again. It's about these trees looking for a king.
Trees looking for a king.
Okay.
Stay with me.
It really brings to life this whole tension between, your God-given purpose and chasing worldly gain, promotion, that sort of thing.
Ah, I see. So the tree's responses are key.
Totally. Each tree values its unique contribution. Its fatness, its sweetness, its wine, more than being promoted.
Interesting. So it poses a question for us.
It does. The source basically asks, look, life offers alternatives.
Yeah.
On one hand, you have these essentials, things that matter for eternity. On the other, you get offers of, elevation, exaltation.
And the wise choices.
To hold on to what's essential and eternal, let's look at the olive tree first. It refuses to be king. It asks, basically, should I leave my fatness, the thing I use to honor God and man, just to be promoted over other trees?
So it's choosing its purpose over position.
Exactly. The source sees this as rejecting that lower position, reigning for a higher ministry, valuing the eternal stuff over temporary status. And there's a warning in there, too.
Oh.
Yeah, that these offers of position can come with hidden compromises.
Yeah.
Pressures towards things that aren't right, maybe practices the source calls idolatrous, especially if you're dealing with traditional power structures.
Gotcha. Be careful what you sign up for, essentially.
Right. Then you have the fig tree. Same deal. It turns down the kingship.
What's its reasoning?
It asks, should I forsake my sweetness and my good fruit just to be promoted? And the source draws this really profound point from it.
Which is?
That there's nothing sweeter, ultimately, than serving God, even if it comes with persecution or pressure.
That's a powerful idea.
It is. And that kind of service, the source says, brings things like divine protection, God's presence, comfort, and eternal rewards.
So the advice is?
Settle it in your heart now. Decide what matters before those tempting offers of honor or political power show up. Be ready.
Makes sense. And the last one? The vine.
The vine, yeah. Same refusal. It asks, should I leave my wine, which cheers God and man, just to be promoted?
Cheering God and man. How does the source interpret that?
It connects it to this incredible privilege of contributing to God's joy. The ministry of talking about Christ, explaining his sacrifice, his atonement.
So bringing people to understanding, to repentance.
Exactly, which brings joy in heaven, and the source says offers that try to pull you away from that kind of ministry. Those are some of life's greatest temptations.
Wow. So putting it all together, the real value isn't the title or the power.
No, it's cultivating and protecting that unique God-given contribution you have. Your fatness, your sweetness, your wine.
Prioritizing that intrinsic purpose over just, climbing the ladder.
You got it. That's the core insight from the allegory.
Okay, so those allegories paint a picture of wise choices. But the source doesn't just leave it there, does it? It talks about consequences.
Oh, absolutely. It pulls no punches when it talks about the real-world fallout for those who choose, let's say, the other paths. It gets into historical accounts.
Showing what happens when people chase power through treachery.
Exactly. And there's this consistent theme running through it all, that old principle, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. You reap what you sow.
Okay, so who does it look at first? Back to Abimelech.
Yep, revisits Abimelech and the men of Shechem, Judges 9 again. It details this dramatic turn where God actually sends an evil spirit discord between them.
Why?
As a direct consequence, the text says, for Abimelech murdering Gideon's 70 sons earlier, and remember, the men of Shechem, they aided and abetted him.
Ah, right, they were complicit.
Completely. And even though they had, 3 years where things seemed okay, judgment eventually came. Divine retribution.
So peace doesn't mean you've gotten away with it.
Not according to the source, no. Then, following that theme of deceit, it points to Absalom.
King David's son. That's a tragic story.
Really tragic, found in 20 Samuel. Absalom's ambition was just blatant. He said, "Oh, that I were made judge in the land."
Undermining his own father, the king.
Exactly. The source calls it self-promotion, politics in the shadow of a living king. It describes how he stole the hearts of the people through cunning manipulation, even using spies.
Calculated.
Very calculated. But his rebellion, this whole web of deceit, it led to that awful end. Hanging tangled in a tree.
A stark image.
And a potent warning, the source suggests, against, overstretching, trying to grab positions that aren't yours to have, that weren't given by God.
Okay, Abimelech, Absalom, any others?
Yes, one more major example, Athaliah from 2 Kings 11.
Athaliah. Refresh my memory.
When her son, the king, died, she moved ruthlessly. She destroyed all the royal heirs, the whole lineage.
To seize power herself.
Precisely. Completely ignoring God's established order for succession. But one young prince, Joash, was hidden away, miraculously preserved.
Ah, so her plan wasn't foolproof.
Nope. After 6 years of her oppressive rule, the rightful heir, Joash, was revealed and crowned. People rejoiced. And Athaliah,
What happened to her?
a violent end right outside the temple. Again, the source frames it very clearly. She reaped what she had sown.
So Abimelech, Absalom, Athaliah.
Yeah.
It's a clear pattern. Ungodly means to power.
Followed by consequences. Maybe not immediate, but sure.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? About the integrity of ambition, the nature of the calls we might be following, maybe without even realizing the long-term trajectory.
It definitely does. It forces a kind of self-examination.
Okay, so we've seen the grim consequences. But this deep dive isn't just about warnings, right? It's also about finding the right path.
Absolutely. Now we shift to the positive examples. Those who made the wise choice.
The ones who provide guidance for us trying to discern these calls.
Exactly. This section is really about that decisive refusal of worldly stuff, what the source calls the treasures of evil in all its forms.
Okay, who's first?
Moses. His preference, as Hebrews 11 puts it, it says Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
Which is huge. He was raised in the palace.
Incredible, right? Potential ruler of Egypt. But he chose instead to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
Why?
Because he valued something higher. The source says he esteemed the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt. That choice allowed him to fulfill his real assignment, delivering Israel, writing the first books of the Bible.
Choosing eternal purpose over earthly power and comfort.
That's it, exactly. A powerful example.
Okay, Moses. Who else?
Next, the Messiah's priority. This is from John chapter 6.
What happened there?
Well, Jesus perceived that the crowds were about to come and basically force him to be their king. By force.
And what did he do?
He departed again into a mountain himself alone. He withdrew.
Why turn down being king?
Because, the source clarifies, his first coming wasn't about reigning on earth. It was about saving people, dying for sins, seeking the lost, not ruling over unconverted sinners.
So he prioritized his redemptive mission over political power.
Decisively, he knew his purpose for that time.
Moses Jesus.
Yeah.
A high bar. Is there a connection to people today?
Yes, the source makes that link explicitly with what it calls the minister's privilege, referencing Luke 22.
How does that connect?
It argues that the real privilege of ministry, drawing from those examples, is in seeking the lost, not in chasing positions of rulership.
Like the trees didn't want to rule.
Right. It quotes Jesus saying things like, "He that is chief, as he that doth serve, and crucially, I am among you as he that serveth."
Service over status.
That's the message. Now is the time to serve. Reigning, glory, that comes later. Service now, the source says, adds stars in our eternal crown. The rest and reward come afterwards.
It's striking, isn't it? There's self-awareness in these figures. Moses, Jesus, that unwavering focus.
It really is. They understood their true calling, their divine purpose, and just refused to be sidetracked, no matter how grand the offer looked.
A real testament to conviction, to knowing what truly matters.
Definitely.
So, as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, what's the main takeaway?
I think the core message really holds. It's the critical importance of discerning these calls we face. Really asking, is this from God? Leading to something essential, eternal, purposeful.
Or is it from man, maybe well-intentioned, but just human ambition, or even from what the source calls Satan, leading to temporary gain, but compromise, and maybe worse.
Exactly. Temporary exaltation, compromise, and, as we saw, ultimately, potential retribution.
The allegories, the olive tree, the fig, the vine, and then the examples of Moses and Christ. They all point to holding fast to what's truly valuable, that divine assignment.
While the stories of Abimelech, Absalom, Athaliah, they're pretty stark warnings about where misplaced ambition can lead. It's quite the contrast.
Yeah, it really is.
And the source leaves us with this thought. It's quite profound. Every decision is seen by God. It goes on to say, if that ministry, saving souls, following Christ, witnessing if that gets dropped to chase local or political status, well, it is a dangerous exchange.
Wow. A dangerous exchange. That really makes you pause and consider your own journey, doesn't it?
It has to.
What is your fatness, your sweetness, your wine? That unique contribution, that essence of your purpose that you're called to.
And maybe just as importantly, what offers might be subtly tempting you to leave it behind? Even seemingly good offers.
Right. The source reminds us pretty clearly, this is the season to work, to serve. The time of rest, glory, and reigning will come afterwards.
So the final question it leaves us with, really, is for you, the listener.
What choice are you making today?